afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host. And in studio with me, Q Magic Delicious Man over there.
Good afternoon.
I was trying to combine delicious in it, but hey, it came out. All right, delicious and all. That might be a new one.
That's definitely a new one.
You know, Q Delicious. Q Delicious. Oh, I did it.
Dove's going to be trademarking that today.
Hey, get out the T-shirts. Q Delicious on the Josh Gill. Hey, that could be a thing.
We can definitely make that happen.
Don't we have a store?
We do.
We do. How do you get there?
Through our website.
Okay, thejoshguillershow.com. That was not a planned promo. All right, we are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble. We good? Rumble.com, YouTube.com. Who's going to be the first one in that chat? Get me over there to that chat. I want to see it. Over there we go. Join us on the Rumble chat, but you can check us out YouTube. I think you can chat us on YouTube. Yeah, you can chat us on YouTube as well. So check us out on our YouTube channel, Rumble channel, and shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. All right, guys, let's jump right in. Woo, man. What is the deal? All right. There is a way to be in the executive branch. Did you know that? Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, you could run for it. It's an election.
Don't they do that every few years?
It's like clockwork.
It's like in the Constitution.
That is so true. And you, too, could be a part of the process. Now, all right, so this was coming from Fox News Digital. Brianne Deppish wrote this article. She did a good job. On a federal judge in Maryland. Well, you know where I'm going with this. You already know where I'm going with this. So, a federal judge in Maryland orders the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia from ICE custody, saying that the Trump administration lacked the final paperwork needed to keep him detained while pursuing removal. It is an interpretation. We shall break it down. Let's see. So, U.S. District Judge Paula, I hope, Your Honor, I don't butcher your names, Xinis Zenas? Xenis?
Didn't even try.
I'm giving it a good go, but I don't want to disrespect the judge. I really genuinely don't. So, Judge X ordered Abrego Garcia released from ICE custody in Pennsylvania. She ruled ICE did not have a final notice of removal required to deport him to a third country. She said continued detention was without lawful authority. That can be important, but let's keep going. That can actually be very important if it meets reality. So the Trump administration says that the ruling lacks a valid legal basis. They're going to appeal that. We'll see where that goes. Remember, these cases, they take a hot minute by design. It is designed to do that. You want the judicial process to be the most methodical. You want that to be the one that has cool heads, not political. Jeez. So the judge relied on Supreme Court precedent limiting detention when removal is not imminent. There's absolutely case law on that. Maybe that case law gets tweaked in Mr. Garcia's situation. Now, Mr. Garcia was deported in error at one point. You may recall that. He was returned to the U.S. and redetained. That was a big old thingy. He still faces separate federal criminal charges in Tennessee. We don't have to go on too much, but maybe we will. Let's see where the conversation takes us, shall we? So let's strip away the media spin and get to really dive in there, okay? Good afternoon, Kill Switch. Sup? That's what he says. I'm with you. You win. You're the first chatter on Rumble. I love it. I love it. But let's take away all this spin. Let's just take away. Let's get into it. This ruling didn't happen in a vacuum. This This ruling didn't happen in a vacuum. This wasn't like, oh, hey, it's a one. No, it happened because one judge, okay? It happened because one district judge decided to use procedural law, some people are saying, as a crowbar against immigration enforcement. And if that is the case, Americans are right to be fed up with that. Republican or Democrat. Now, I know that one we may not be as united on, only because I think the real folks are, though, especially when we get into this next topic. Especially when we get into this next topic, segment 3, we'll try to hit in on that. You're going to like that. Bring some stats. Even my friends that identify as Democrat. It's pretty alarming what we're going to talk about. But let's get through this, because this, too, is alarming. So there is a process in the court, and there's advocacy, and then there's neutrality. And this is where the frustration can, kind of come into play. That V versus in between, that's where the advocates are. One side is arguing one thing. The other side's arguing something else. And then this neutral entity, the court, neutral, not political. Most of the time not. Most of the time they're not. Well, there's enough examples. So, full candor, there is Supreme Court precedent that does limit indefinite detention. Absolutely. You can go Google that. And if you look in, really any, immigration law 101, I'm don't claim to be an expert, but you got that. Lawyers know it, judges know it, ICE knows it. But ICE knows it. But here's the part that the headlines are conveniently skipping. Over my frustration, Q-licious. Yeah, get the merch ready. But here's the little part that the headlines are missing, and I really want everybody to realize this, okay? Judges have discretion in how they apply that precedent. You see what I'm saying? The precedent's there. Yeah, you can't detain indefinitely, but there is extreme discretion given to the trier of fact in under that same precedent. That's why I said this case may curb that. That may change that. Kind of how Roe versus Wade, Planned Parenthood, there's a case after that, was overturned by Dobbs. Well, it's Dobbs. Well, some cases can get kind of tweaked a little bit. Now, let's talk about this, though. We're going to go into a break. Let's take a little break. When we get back, I want to talk about this topic just a little bit more and then move on to some consequences of this border being out of control for about 4 years. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and rumble.com. That's where our chat's at, rumble.com. You can chat us on YouTube, too. I keep forgetting. Big Tib, what's happening, baby? Welcome to the convo. Appreciate you guys. Go check us out. You can see us streaming live. You can also go to our YouTube channel and Rumble channel and see old archive videos. And shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. We love you, too. All right, so back to this judge in Maryland. A lot of people are saying, yeah, Judge, you're right. There's a Supreme Court case, and it says absolutely that limits indefinite detention. There is no doubt. And everyone that kind of stumbles on this law kind of knows that. You see what I'm saying? Lawyers know it, judges know it. But what we're forgetting is that judges have discretion in the same precedent. And it seems like, again, I'm not a legal scholar on this. I don't claim to be. Maybe there's some folks in there that out there listening and call in on this. I see you, Big Tim. But judges have discretion in how they apply the very precedent that she is relying on. So this is not just a clear-cut deal here, okay? And some folks in the legal circles are saying that the judge chose to apply this precedent in the most enforcement hostile way possible. I don't know how else to say it. All right, so let's break it down a little bit. Think about it. She did not say that ICE lacks authority to deport this individual, okay? She didn't say any of that. She didn't say that the Trump administration is acting outside of the law. Very important fact. She said she didn't like the timing and the paperwork. That is what I see happen. Summarizing it, of course. My audience is busy. And based on that, didn't like the timing, didn't like the paperwork. Based on that, she ordered the release of this very upstanding citizen. I kid, he's not a citizen, and I don't think he's upstanding. He's broken our laws every time he turns around. Judges are supposed to have judicial restraint. And if this is what these guys that I'm reading, their analysis on this one judge's actions, my goodness, that is not restraint. That is micromanagement from the judiciary, micromanagement of the executive branch from the judiciary. That's the difference between checks and balances and trying to pretend to be president. Now, look, I'm just saying, if we're going to be an equal opportunist here, okay? I'm just saying, y'all are going to have to let Trump be a judge. Hey, if you're going to doggone sit there and pretend to play president, y'all going to have to let Trump, not everyone, like 1 out of every 15. Like 15 silly, overreaching activists, but he gets to rule on one of his own cases and gets to write the opinion. Like he writes an opinion. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. And also quite entertaining for the folks, I know how to talk to the people. So paperwork and timing got us a little upset. A lot of people are saying that little tiff, if that's how it happened. A lot of folks are saying that that particular judge would be inserting herself directly into immigration operations and dictating how the executive branch actually must run removal offices or removal efforts. There is a place for all that. But using a Supreme Court precedent that gives you the discretion on basically how to use the Supreme Court precedent, you can't rely on it when it's that loosey-goosey, when you have the discretion to do or not do what you are doing. It is a choice. and under judicial constraint of all the public officials we have, it should come from the fine folks who wear black robes. And an overwhelming majority of the time it does. I do not want you to not have faith in the judiciary. Even what we see, what we have seen, even what we have seen in the lawfare from very, very weak people who did not have constraint at all or restraint. But hey, thank God the election happened the way it happened. And I rarely would say an election would be that consequential. But as far as like lawfare, and as far as abuse of power in the FBI and the DOJ and things like that, it's still going on, but it's not nearly as rampant. Doesn't make it. We could talk about that for hours. But anyway, I digress. I'm just saying, you could run, like, Judge, you can run for president. Now, you got to get out there. You got to give your automatic pay for life up. Now, you have to do that. Maybe, I don't know, if you win, you get a pension. They should just tell them that. Okay, get appointed to president. Man, this is what drives people crazy. It drives people crazy, drives me crazy. Immigration enforcement is not a neat law school little hypo. We're going to do a little hypothetical today, guys. Man, it involves foreign governments. It involves third country assurances, diplomatic negotiations. It involves moving parts that do not run on a district judge's preferred schedule. And that's okay. You know, there's no scheduling order, Your Honor, for this kind of stuff. Courts have historically understood that. Courts have historically understood the separation of powers. Courts have historically understood the canon of judicial restraint. Historically. There's a trend that is a little scary, a lot scary, because lately some of these judges have decided that they know better. And you got to understand, hey, look, I think it's important to understand how information is processed and why what I'm saying means something, okay? A judge, by design, gets information delivered to them in a very controlled way, very methodical, so many things that could it's so out of the ordinary from the average American's experience of communication being exchanged. And it's there beautifully by design. That's how it's supposed to be. They are the slowest branch for the reason. Give me a little more. But the executive branch is the day-to-day, the 24/7. They're the do branch. Boom, 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 boom. They get information raw. Here it is. Matter of fact, like, here it is. You get the decision. And by the way, some of this, make a life or death decision now, Mr. President. Not everything. Most of it's not. That's an exception. But it sure as heck is faster than the court's docket. And if there's no way, like checks and balances. Come on, we want to talk about checks and balances? You want to talk about a dictator? Who has the ability to be a dictator more? A federal judge or the president of the United States right now? Some unelected district judge can still, they're still doing these universal injunctions. They don't call them that. Anyway, I digress. Most are great. Have faith in the judiciary. I'm just highlighting a few examples so that we know what not to do. All right, seriously. All right, let's stick around here, guys. We're going to take a little break. Guess what, Q? The phone lines are going to be open. I can't wait. All right, we'll be right back. back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on rumble.com and our YouTube channel. My favorite part of the whole show, that is the phone lines. And let me hear you, 232-1540, 2-844-766-6607 if you're outside the Acadiana area. All right, caller, let's see here. Who are we going to? All right, let's see it. Caller, you're live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Warren.
Hey, Warren. What's up, Warren? That's Quentin's fault.
Well, the Bible says you wrestle not against flesh and blood, but wickedness. It talks about the wickedness, principalities, municipalities, and wickedness in high places. And that's what these judges are, Josh. They wickedness in high places. You know, you got good judges, you got good state troopers, you know, and that's why we got to clean it up for the good people. But let me just give you an example. Here, Jeff Landry, he set the state on fire. Him and Liz Merle single-handedly ruined the oil field. And now, not only did he set the bridge on fire, he's throwing gasoline on it. They're going to give the judges in Louisiana, I hope Renee's listening, they're going to give the judges a raise 3 times more than a poor person lives on, plus more raises and bonuses and probably profit sharing and insider trading. But, you know, this is outrageous when the average person's health care cost is $6,400 a year and $1,000 out of pocket every year because nothing's covered. All the insurance companies are getting rich. It's a bunch of wicked devils and demons, Josh. Thank you.
Thanks, Warren. Appreciate you, my friend. Let's see here. Let's go to Eddie. What's up, Eddie?
Nothing much. You know what the problem is?
What's
all
up?
These judges and all these Democrats and Republicans live in their own little world, in their own little houses with fences and everything. Nothing really happens to them or their family. But if something would ever happen to their family, God forbid, I don't want that to happen now, people. But if something would happen to their family member, would you think they change their mind on all this crap?
Well, no doubt. No doubt. And you're right. We don't wish that on anybody. No doubt. You know, Eddie, and the thing is, a lot of times these policies, they're so out of touch. It's so easy for these elites to preach from their ivory tower at us little peasants because we don't know any better. Remember COVID? Us stupids? Good point, Eddie. Good point. I think it's just out of touch, and you're right. God forbid we don't want that to happen. But let me bring it on down to Omeletville. All right? Here we go. So this reporting right here, we're going to change it to the border, and it's going to drive you crazy. This reporting from the Washington Times, it's revealing a little testimony, or a lot of it, before Congress that should stop everybody doggone in your tracks. The head of the National Counterterrorism, Counterterrorism Center, just told lawmakers that thousands of people tied to terrorism didn't just try to enter into our country during the President Biden years. Now that, they succeeded. They actually did. And the full scope is still unknown. So I'm gonna throw out some numbers, but I want to remind everyone of just the hypotheticals. Since we just went from a judge, just saying a lot of hypotheticals in make believe world. On paper, feels good. I'm going to help out the deprived illegal alien. That's the voice that happens whenever, that's the only way it works. You get what I'm saying? All right, so let's take the hypothetical, all right? 10 million, we hear anywhere from 10 to 20 million got through, 10 to 15 million. I hear 15 a lot, but let's go with 10 million for easy math for me. 10 million got through the border illegally during President Biden's years, during the border czar's years, his vice president, our vice president during the time. Let's just do the math. Most people, man, we're so mean, we're cruel, we want to enforce immigration. Most of the people are just good people. We agree. Now let's hypothetically say in any group, I don't care what it is, 100 people, any group of 100 people, y'all think 99's good? Like, really? We're thinking 99 out of every 100 people are acting in good faith in the world, on a world average? No, of course not. But let's go with 1% are bad actors. 10 million, that's 100,000. I can keep going. I know this audience has heard this before. A tenth of a percent, 10,000? Well, let's talk about that, because it only took 19 hijackers on September 11th to overstay their visa. Oh, immigration's, we're cruel. We're horrible. But for them being here, the pain wouldn't have happened. The damage would not have occurred. The evil would not have happened, at least not right then and there. You can make your arguments. Yeah, fix my mic. Talking about my mic stand. Look what I'm having to do. It's unbelievable. But the professional that I am wouldn't know. All right, let's check this out. All right, again, this is the National Counterterrorism Center, okay? They've identified 18,000. 18 is 18 too many. Multiply that by 1,000. 18,000 known or suspected terrorists who entered the United States during the Biden administration. Can't make that up. And again, this is what we know as of right now. NCTC Director Joe Kent testified this figure reflects only those already identified, not the full total, and that is scary. That is not comforting. There's no win there. There's no win. He told Congress that these individuals pose a persistent national security threat. This is not politics, or it is, but it shouldn't be. National security should never be political. Should never be on either side, on any side, whatever that means. Kent said under normal immigration enforcement, he said under normal enforcement, these people would have been blocked from entry. He testified that Biden-era policies allowed, and in some cases, it's all under oath, facilitated their entry. Like, that is, I mean, at minimum, I'm trying to find the words here to be kind. At minimum, that's not working in the United States' best interest. And these guys are either appointed or elected. There's no mention of elected, but so it's all appointed or bureaucrat. Civil service. Most all good people, I get it. It's a system. It's what happens when we let things get too big in this country. Like big government. You know, our country can be big, but the big government mindset. You can have a big country and have a understanding of what made it great in limited federal government republic land. That, you know. All right, let's go to this guy. Big Chris. What's up, Big Chris?
Hey, you know, I used to ask myself, why do they do that? These are our fellow, you know, Americans, and you're letting these criminals come in, and you're doing everything the Democrats basically do, and some of the Republicans. I used to ask myself, why? That's your neighbors you're hurting. And it occurred to me, it's all about the money. It's all about greed. And when they get it, like, perfect example, AOC, dumb as a box of rocks, a bartender, you know, lighting her home flat on fire, they said one time. And she's worth $5 million after, what, 4 years? Come on, man.
Wait, what's she worth? What's she worth now?
Jasmine Crockett.
What's she worth
like $5 million, I think they said.
What?
$5 million, I believe. And then you have Jasmine Crockett. I mean, they have no class. All they're in it for is to get themselves rich, and they care little about everybody else. The stupidity part is that, they say a rising tide lifts all boats. Well, guess what? A lowering tide lowers all boats. And this country
Thank
goes
you.
to hell in a handbasket.
Exactly.
And guess who? Guess who the first ones are going to get attacked? The ones with the money. And the people at the bottom that have been stomped on all these years are going to say, you know what? They caused it. We're going after them. If you look at history, it's happened over and over. The Bolshevik Revolution, the French Revolution, the American Revolution. When the masses had enough, people at the top lose their heads. End of the story.
Hey, Big Chris, and on top of that, the elites want them to be the only ones with the guns. I wonder why. Because when the masses do get upset, they want to be the only ones. Man, I tell you what, look, we're going to go into this break. I want everybody to be safe and secure, just like the customers of CSafe. Thanks for sponsoring this segment, guys, over there at CSafe, Clay and the crew. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live on the Cape from the Cape Health Studios here in Acadiana. That's South Louisiana for you wonderful folks outside this great state. It is a great state. Just ignore some of the stuff going on down the street. We're going to get that right. I believe we will, Q. Yeah. You know, I believe we will. Anywho. All right, so look, we're talking about the border, and we got some statistics, this time from the National Counterterrorism Center. It's pretty alarming. So during the 4 years of President Biden, what we know of right now, by we, the Counterterrorism Center, the National Counterterrorism Center, this is what they do. And that, look, they have their bureaucrats too, meaning they're there by design. And most of the time, the bureaucrats do everything within the bureaucracy. It's just frustrating, but they do it. It's kind of like the judges. Only a few. But it's noticeable, and the bigger the federal government gets, the more noticeable it feels, and we keep on giving. Republicans, I'm talking to us, and not we the Republican. That's the problem. We the Republican understand that you get rid of non-essential anything until you get your finances in order. You know, you don't go buy ice cream when I don't want to say it too loud. The former president going to get excited. You don't go to Yogurtland when you can only afford, the meat and potatoes, which you need. And now my wife, who's a health nut's probably like, you just gave the worst dietary, and maybe I did good. I don't know. I just eat what the kind lady tells me to eat.
You were suggesting a very primal diet.
Thank you. That's something that everybody can relate to. Just because my little sweet, smart person lives on nuts and berries. She doesn't. Hey, that lady will cook the cleanest gumbo. I sent you a picture. We posted it.
It's on TikTok and on Facebook. Yeah,
and got some good recipes from other folks too.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate that. Yes. Anywho, so this man, these numbers are absolutely alarming. Give me that full. This is where the rubber meets the road, though. Everyone wants to argue. Everybody wants to argue about paperwork, process, or the left. The left on this issue specifically. You want to argue about paperwork. You want to argue about the process. The process is important. The process could be way more efficient. That's where we have common ground. But the elites don't want us to. Republicans, how many times have you said it yourself? We believe in lawful immigration. We're a country of migrants or a country of immigrants. We've all said it and we all believe it. We don't have a problem with the 99% that's good. We got a problem with the people that are bad. And there's no way to determine that better than the process we have, except we can make that better. That's why there's no process better. But what we can't do is ignore such an egregious crime that could lead to death and destruction, and it already has. Would you ignore murder? Would the Democrats ignore murder? Seriously. Why have the law if you're not going to abide by it? It's confusing. If you're not going to enforce one law, then you have no laws. Just like if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. Just need a little common sense, like my boys over there at C-Safe. They get it. Look, man, when strength matters, I'm talking about strength. When strength matters, when custom matters, when failure's not an option, man, go see those guys over there at C-Safe. They deliver. C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, and outlast the competition in the harshest environments. And think about that down here in South Louisiana, from offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between. Their products are American-made, C-Safe, and manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. Check them out. csafe.com, S-E-A, just like the ocean, csafe.com. Q, as we wind down this segment, we go into the next hour. We were talking in the break. There's so much more good than bad. So,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? It's like we're going into this little break. And when we come back in hour 2, man, I want us to remember, like, hold on to the good. I know we can still be entertained and have good. There's still good out there, you know, but we do need to talk about these important things. And I just say that because we can recognize the things that we need to avoid while at the same time appreciate what God has blessed us with here in this wonderful country. All right, guys, and that includes you. So we'll be right back here in just a few minutes. Hour number 2. Don't go anywhere. afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am remaining to be your grateful host. And in studio with me still, Q-licious over there. What up, Q Magic Man?
Good afternoon.
Oh, it's in now. Get the merch. I'm telling you. It's going to have Q-licious. Man, guys, hey, look, we're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble, rumble.com. Go to our channel, rumble.com, The Josh Guillory Show, and check out our YouTube channel, YouTube, The Josh Guillory Show. All right, let's switch gears here and go back to our friends to the south of us there, way down yonder in Venezuela. Been hot and heavy. Hot and heavy. I say that is to be expected whenever you change courses, you know? Every action has a reaction. We are choosing to no longer just be the recipient of the drug war. We are choosing to, instead of just letting it come to our shore and spread across our country and try to find it that way, meet the freaking enemy where they're at. The heck? That is not hard. Come on now. Like, my friends on the Democrat side, you want those drugs here? Seriously. Like, what's your choice? What's your choice? You have two choices. They're either landing here or we're going to get them there. What you act like we have some of these folks act like there's a clean, pretty choice. Oh, the drugs go in this box, Larry. And the bad guys go in that line. You see, when they come on our shores, they put the drugs in the boxes. They turn themselves in. I swear, I think that's what these people think. Man, Maduro could give two rats patoonie about you or your kids. Or your boxes, Larry. Jeez. So Associated Press is reporting, the AP, details about President Trump, confirming that the United States seized a massive oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. An extremely rare move, by the way, that's kind of escalate pressure on Nicolas Maduro, and directly targets his regime's oil-based lifeline. Without the oil, they're nothing. Okay? The drugs help. Yeah, help the revenue. It's got to fund the operation. He's a dictator over there. He's got a lot of stuff to do. So, U.S. forces, few little facts here. We seized a super tanker near Venezuela carrying roughly 2 million barrels of crude oil. The operation was carried out by the United States Coast Guard with Navy support. They launched from the USS Gerald R. Ford in the Caribbean. That's serious. That is not light at all. So the tanker, known as the Skipper, you think they call it that in Spanish? Or is it I don't know. I'm just curious. I am just curious. Or maybe they're, hey, we're going on the United States shores. We might as well put it in American. Might as well put it in English. The Skipper. Like, not even like El Skipper. To my Hispanic friends, I'm sorry, I'm totally butchering the Spanish language. I mean no disrespect. So the tanker known as the Skipper has been under U.S. sanctions for years. The Skipper's been bad. The Skipper hasn't been up to no good. Okay? So federal officials linked the vessel to a shadow oil smuggling network connected to Iran's Revolutionary Guard and Hezbollah. Shocker. Man, about half of the oil on board was tied to a Cuban state-run importer. Did you see that?
I didn't see that part.
Dude, yes, this is no joke. All right, so the AG, she had some words. She said that the tanker supported foreign terrorist organizations. That is a very important fact, too. Since we're on the topic, let's just think about what we have. Americans, Put your politics at the door. Think about what has happened in 4 years. We've had 18,000 known or suspected terrorists cross the border. We've had all of this coming along our shore. Like, this is what, drugs just pouring in, ties to terrorism, according to our AG. And I hope she's, hey, look, what do you give the accuracy now? Like, what do we give the accuracy to the Attorney General's office? It's a fair question. Because, okay, so she said that. I mean, I'm sorry. She has taken a hit. And it's probably not even her fault. No, she's a leader. It's her fault. But it just kind of goes to show you, man, sometimes people can't. It's hard to stand up to all that. It's hard. It's not really. It's not really. You either believe in something. I just don't understand it. Like, people, I was talking to somebody. I was talking to an elected official. I'll leave their name out. But I was talking to an elected official this morning. Some people just really do, they like just the power. Like, it's not even money. It's not anything. It's not like to do anything. It's not to help people. It's just, they just like the power. It's like I don't understand. Like, what's the point?
They're preparing for the HOA campaign.
You ain't kidding. But the AG, anyway, I'll take this AG over the last one, okay? I'll take this FBI director so far over the last one. I'm just saying that some things will take a minute. They're not too big. It just takes a minute. Think how long it's taken. Look at the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover, I mean, look how long that's had time to marinate. It's going to take way more than one administration. That's what I'm saying with these presidents. Every once in a while, you'll get one that will change our trajectory for a little bit. Or at least, that's the most you can hope for. And to keep things afloat. The administration can at least keep things kind of afloat. But that's the most you can hope for. You're not going to have a monumental just every single moment. But it's the culture. And if that's what I'm saying, if we were just go back to what we are designed to be, a very limited federal government, we would prosper so much. There's a lot of money in this country. Could you imagine if all that money that we send to the federal government went down to your local community? I don't even care if your mayor's a Democrat. That Democrat mayor will typically manage that money locally better than some bureaucrat in Washington. There's 3 parties. There's a third party, the bureaucracy party. You looking at me over there. Hey, I see that Rumble chat. Sorry, guys. I didn't give y'all a shout-out. Way to go. All right, stick around. We'll be right back, and I can't wait because it's going to be fun. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also broadcasting live on the mothership, rumble.com. That's what I went with. YouTube channel as well. Go check us out, the Josh Guillory Show. Hey, man, I'm digging that chat. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I like it. All right, so let's keep talking about this. Just to recall, all right, so Venezuela, let's go over the facts. All right, so the United States, we forced, our forces, seized a super tanker near Venezuela carrying roughly 2 million barrels of crude oil. Just a reminder for everybody. All right, we went in there with the Coast Guard. They launched it from one of our ships, the USS Gerald R. Ford. The old Skipper is the name, and Skipper's been in trouble though. They've been having sanctions for quite a bit. All right, now this is important because about by the way, about half the oil on board was tied to a dang Cuban state-run importer. Like, you can't make that up, man. Well, I guess you could. That's why I said, do we believe it? I hate to say it. I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. Like, I don't know. I mean, I trust what this DOJ says a little bit more than the last one, but still the DOJ, still the federal government. I mean, slap whatever you want on it. We're Republicans. Then why are you creating federal office? I see you get me all fired up. You should say I did it to myself. By the way, has anybody seen any bills that Joni Ernst, the senator from Iowa, has dropped? We should look into that, Q. Maybe in the break we'll look into that because maybe she has dropped the $2.1 trillion she found. Maybe we have actually dropped the bill on Capitol Hill to make that thing happen. No? Ugh.
I check often.
Good. Your public service to the community. I appreciate that. All right. So this move about securing this and seizing this tanker, this super tanker, all right? It matters because it kind of changes the dynamic in this whole thing. We're at war. It's a drug war. For a long time in this country, our policies, sanctions existed mostly on paper, while regimes like Maduro's, they learned how to dodge them. That was their MO. That's what they did. Shadow tankers, ghost companies, mid-ocean transfers, all this stuff. Shell corporations registered in secrecy havens. Everyone in the inside knew it was happening. Almost no one stopped it. I mean, I get it, priorities. This should be one. This should be one. It just goes to show you the war on drugs. Another good idea from someone I love, Nancy Reagan, all these folks. But we have taken that good idea, which when they announced it was more self-responsibility. It wasn't like government going to fix the problem. That's the problem. They added government to the solution. You get what I'm saying? When the government comes in, like, it's just not, even if they help for a little bit, the power never retires. If the power would retire with the bureaucrat, then maybe it would be okay. But the power never. Or if it goes away with the administration, then all right, cool. Start anew every administration. But that is not how it works, nor should it. Got to have some stability. But President Trump comes in and he stops it. These are realities. The tanker, it wasn't like it had all this innocent commerce in it, Q. It was carrying money. And what was that money for? It props up a regime charged with narco-terrorism, aligned with Iran, aligned with Hezbollah. Let's keep going. And deeply involved in drug trafficking throughout the doggone hemisphere. Oil is Maduro's oxygen. You cut that off, and the regime gasps.
Didn't President Bush have a term for Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and Iran?
Yeah, the axis of evil.
And it's almost like it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. They all went their own way and pretty much did evil.
That is an extremely good point. And yet we're going to sit here and ties to that evil. Oh, just, let it come on our shores. Man. So the reaction from Caracas tells you pretty much everything. They didn't deny the sanctions. They didn't deny the tanker's history. They went straight to screaming theft and piracy. Well, get out the eye patches. I think that's what happens when a criminal enterprise loses a major asset. Kind of to be expected of this little behavior. I want to switch gears, though, because there's a couple more points I want to talk about. Let's talk about Indiana. We're going to switch total gears here, okay? Indiana and redistricting, because this is kind of a new thing that we're going to have in politics. And this is exactly what we're about to talk about is politics. It has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do about counting people. And I'm not even saying people are evil, okay, for using it. But I do want to, can we just be real? Like, can we just breathe? I feel like everybody just yells at the national TV. Like, even on this issue, like, just pause. I'm tired. Gosh, can we just talk? But let's be real about it. All right, so I'm going off of a Washington Times report. All right, and they're reporting on this. Indiana has become, apparently, just the latest way, but the latest flashpoint, what I'm calling it, in a national redistricting fight as Republicans this time clash internally over there in Indiana, House and Senate, over whether or not to redraw the state's congressional map at President Trump's very strong urging. All right, so here's a few little facts here, okay? President Trump has pushed Indiana Republicans to adopt a new congressional map that would pretty much lock in GOP control on all 9 House seats in Indiana. So I think it's +2, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the Republican-controlled state House, they've already passed the map after a couple months of pressure from the president, from the vice president, and also Governor Braun over there, Mike Braun. He's been on top. He's been pretty vocal. The Republican-controlled Senate, however, they're resisting right now. So a vote, that's uncertain. Now, the proposed map, again, it would, 2 of them. So 2 currently Democrat-held seats, it would eliminate that. And it would carve basically Indianapolis is where this is kind of like the epicenter, as you can imagine in Indiana. Indianapolis into 4 Republican-leaning seats. Well, as you can imagine, Democrats in Illinois, well, we already know this, Illinois, Maryland, Virginia, they've already kind of been rumbling, but now they're like openly saying, hey, that's fine, you go do that. But they're threatening retaliation if the Indiana Senate moves forward. So, inside Indiana, the GOP split is pretty, I would say in a lot of states, which is something that Republicans are going to have to recognize. You got some folks that basically you got the old guard and you got what appears to be the Trump Republican. I don't know if that exists. I think people just like to win. I think, you know what I mean? I think people are tired. I think people know deep down inside that we do have the greatest country in the world. And I do believe that people still have a healthy pride, not that arrogant ego pride, but healthy esprit de corps about our country. And I think people generally know that human beings are innately born good and that in this country that good is able to foster. And I think people are just tired of being told that we suck all the time and that we're the problem and we're the reason for the world's problem. And I think people are just waking up to that silliness being what it is. Silliness. You know, it's not silly. The phone lines, they're going to be open. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on rumble.com and our YouTube channel. Those are live. You can go check us out, but you can also check out old footage, old podcasts. That's pretty neat. And thank you, and to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. We certainly appreciate you as well. All right. Let's see here. So we're talking about Indiana. So the House, all right, there's this big push. We all know this. There's a big push about redistricting. That is the new thing, okay? So right now, the story that we're covering is in Indiana. In Indiana, there's 9 House seats. Right now, there's 7 Republicans, 2 Democrats. The House Republicans, after being strongly urged by President Trump, by Vice President Vance, by the governor over there, Governor Braun, in Indiana, they said, okay. So the House basically carved up Indianapolis 4 ways, made it more Republican-leaning, and it's expected if it passes, that it would gain 2 seats for the GOP, for the Republican Party. Hey, hold on, though. Well, do you think the Louisiana legislature knows that? Or do you think they can only give Democrats a seat? Maybe it's like one of those... I know in drainage, those smart people would tell me some of these doors, the water would go one way, but not the other way. And every engineer's probably like, what is this dude talking about?
The flapper gates.
Yeah, or whatever. They're gates. You're right. But yeah, they flap. I think the legislature may have been confused on 2 things. One, maybe they didn't know that it was just a one way. You could only give a Democrat seat, and then I think they have Joni Ernst disorder. I think that they forget that they, too, can drop a bill on the Capitol Hill. Now, come on. You can fix it. They can do closed primaries, too. The House and the state got it right. But let's go back to Indiana. So the House passes it. They're saying, that's cool, no problem. Here's the 2 seats. The Senate is paused, and that's where we're at now. So... very important. So President Trump, again, he's pushed Indiana Republicans to adopt this new congressional map that would pretty much lock this, this GOP control in. A lot of pressure. But here's the deal. You're going to see a lot of reasons. You're going to see a lot of stuff in the news on what this is all about. Let me tell you what it's not. It is not a moral debate. And phone lines are open, guys. We're about to go straight to them. It is not a moral debate. This is not some sacred conversation about fairness on how to count people. This is politics. It is raw, unapologetic, and disgusting, in my humble opinion. That's why I used to say this all the time, and I still do. The only thing wrong with politics is politics. I love the policy part. I love the people part. You just can't make sense. Say what you want about the legal field. I used to thirst for conversation with lawyers after talking to some of these politicians because at least with a lawyer, even if he's being an ugly person, I at least know there's objectivity and they're not afraid to tell me their position. You see what I'm saying? I can live with that. Might not like it, but I can live with that. And so can most of the people. But we got to know what this is. And pretending otherwise, like that it's some other moral issue or some other actual grown-up discussion, insults the intelligence of anyone who has actually been paying attention for more than 5 minutes of the Josh Guillory Show. Let's go to the phone lines. All right, caller, you are live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Steven, and I'm on the road.
What up, Steven? What you got, buddy?
Well, Steve, I'm sorry. Josh, I want to take issue with one of your advertisers.
Okay, talk to me.
I mean, I'm in a serious issue with one of your advertisers.
Well, okay, go for it.
Well, you have a law firm that says that that driving kids to school or picking them up is one of the worst places to get hurt by someone's carelessness.
Oh.
But there's thousands of different places where it's worse than just bringing kids to and from school.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, that's the first thing I want to say.
All right.
Second thing I want to say is that that lawyer consulted my intelligence. But anyway, the second one is I want to say, what are we doing in Venezuela? And what do we expect to get out of this?
Yeah. It's a dicey game, that's for sure. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, caller. Call back soon sometime. We appreciate that. I don't know who he was talking about in the first one, but hey, look, freedom of speech. Great, fair question about the whole Venezuela thing. Fair question. I would just say this: play the tape. I get it. None of this is easy. None of this is easy. But the way that I see it, like I do believe that for us as a, just as a society, as a community, as a country, we really do need to understand the facts and play out each scenario. Right now, 2 scenarios seem likely, okay? And I'm sure there are more, but I know that 2 that reasonable people couldn't disagree on. One is continue to do what we've always done, which is let the drugs and money come on our shore first, let it disperse because we're watching every inch of the shoreline, okay, and then try to find it in our country of 320 plus million people. Okay, that is an option. That is absolutely an option, okay, and Venezuela will not be mad at us on that option. They will be okay with that. That'll be like, give me another, please, and they will take it, okay. Another option is go on your intelligence and find the enemy, engage the enemy, and destroy the enemy. And that's an option. It sucks. It's not pretty. Who wants to go kill people? But they're killing our kids. We're just being real. Like, what? It's a clean answer. Like these judges, some of these judges, people are looking at them saying, "No, it's a clear answer." Really? That's convenient. When you walk in, everybody stands. Nobody talks when you say to not talk. That's real. That you want to talk about authoritarian by design. By design, nothing. They're in charge of their courtrooms. Most of them do a really good job, from my experience. Honest folks. Appreciate that. But boy, those great people surely make it easy to see when the folks that are getting political stand out. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's see here. Warren, what you got, Warren?
Well, I like the way Trump's using the Navy. I like the way he extracted that lady from Venezuela. I think he was just awesome what he's doing. We could use the medal for our Navy, They're using that for bad purposes. We could use that ship for good purposes. He did right to seize it. New Orleans, I heard they have $50 million worth of lawsuits against the city that just haven't been paid. Boy, that's just outrageous. And you talk about this carbon capture. Ask anyone who's had a pipeline ruin their property. They're going to do the same thing with a pipeline for carbon capture. This is communism, to go destroy people's property by running a pipeline right down the middle of it. You don't even get the option of picking it. You're going to do what they want or they sue you. But anyway, just comment on, does the city, because I heard the city of Lafayette did the same thing, took somebody's property and said sue us for it. I appreciate a comment on that. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Hey, thanks, Warren. The comment, I don't know. I'd have to know. I'd have to know more about it. Yeah, hey, man, interesting facts. Q's over there shaking his head on New Orleans. Sounds like that was a pretty dead-on spot. I don't know that either, but here's the deal. None of those are examples. I wouldn't use New Orleans and I wouldn't use Lafayette right now. And I just being honest, growing government's not a good thing. Renewing taxes when you could cut them, shit helps the folks. But, but when you're, really, when you don't worry about it and it's not like a thing, it doesn't matter. It's just revenue to them. It's not people's paychecks. It's just revenue to them. And that's how they look at it. It's their business model. And that is not a service model. That is something silly. All right, let's take a break. When we get back, we'll continue. I'm changing topics. We're going to college camp. We're going to college again, guys. All right, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on Rumble. Rumble.com, the Josh Guillory Show. Also go to YouTube, our YouTube channel, and you can check us out. Man, let me tell you about my boys over there at C-Safe. Okay, when strength matters, when custom matters, when failure's not an option, man, go to my boys over there at C-Safe. They deliver. C-Safe FRP products are engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, and outlast the competition in the harshest environments. From offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants and everywhere in between, their products are American-made and manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. C-Safe, check them out, csafe.com, S-E-A, just like the ocean. Pretty cool material they got. Pretty cool. Light, so light.
Oh, yeah.
So light.
It doesn't rust, and it can pretty much get put anywhere.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, so csafe.com, go check them out. Man, let's go to college. Let's go to the college. Let's do that. Go back to school. Columbia. You know, Columbia is just so rarely in the news these days. New York Post is reporting that Columbia University's own anti-Semitism task force. Well, that is something. I would love to see Columbia University. I would love to have seen that process. There were so many people gritting their teeth like, we have to do this. I'm telling you. Oh, they were forced to. But that's okay. So the New York Post, again, they're reporting on the university, that's Columbia University's, their own anti-Semitism task force. Well, they just released its final report, and it lays out how Jewish students were actually singled out. This is them admitting it. Humiliated and targeted by professors who turn classrooms into political indoctrination zones. A few little facts here. All right, so a public health instructor told hundreds of incoming students. This is like one of the key findings here, okay? So one of the public health instructors, public health, in Columbia University's administration, an instructor told hundreds of incoming students that Jewish donors only give money to, quote, launder blood money. And also denied, this public health instructor told hundreds of incoming students, also denied Israel's right to exist. Yes. I can't make that up. Yep. So Jewish and Israeli students were singled out in front of their peers, like, you know, beacon of inclusiveness over there, Columbia University. I feel so loved. I would feel so welcome. Whew. What they do to Catholics? Are we cool? Are we good? Can I go? Sometimes you got to ask. But yeah, man, these little students, they're just going on. Columbia had a really good reputation for a long time. Maybe they get it back. I don't know. Doing this doesn't help them, but maybe it does.Maybe this is hey, they have an opportunity. Here's the truth. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to get better, or are they going to choose to just sweep it on the rug, and 5 years from now we're going to talk about it again, like some different other BS, bologna sandwich? Okay. But I feel horrible for these little students, man. Oh, by the way, including one of the students that were singled out, included one student pointed at one of the students were pointed at and labeled a murderer, okay, because she had served in the IDF. She had served in the Israeli Defense Forces, and they singled this student out, who's done way more probably heroic things than this professor would even dream of. Or maybe not, I don't know. But I just know this. That's wrong. A professor read a student's private email out loud in class to shame them. How's that? Like, this is going on. Public university. I would be so upset. Some instructors dismissed documented Hamas sexual violence as fabricated. Others canceled classes or moved them into protest encampments where Zionists were explicitly unwelcome. Most of the professors, well, they face no real accountability. Why would you say that? Well, because of tenure. Because of tenure. So you can be a racist? Tenure allows you, well, I guess, I don't know. I don't know. But here's the part that people are fed up with. Parents did not send their kids to Colombia to be targeted because of their religion. Students didn't sign up to be publicly humiliated by professors that they should trust with political agendas. And tuition, which probably, how much of that did we pay? How much of that did we pay? You know? But tuition going to what? Ideology? And not academics? And what is that anymore? I wish we had another 2 hours, Quentin. Doggone it. Hey, guys, thank y'all so much. What a great conversation. Remember, you can check out old podcasts over there at rumble.com and youtube.com. We appreciate you. God bless you. Be careful out there and be kind.